Hey there, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. If you have been here before and you're coming back, thank you. Really, you can stick me. There we go. Now, I saw, when was this article? So this is 5 days old, right? But I saw an article in the Leicester Mercury, which is, or a newspaper. And I'm like, holy crap, I know this convicted criminal. But there's something that Leicester Mercury are missing out of this, right? So I just thought I'd let you know. So this chap has just been sentenced to 5.5 years. Claudio Stefan Christian. Now, I know this guy as Stefan. He goes to the karaoke bar that I used to go to when I was friends with my ex-best friend. We won't go into that. Just know that if you ever lie to me, we don't stay friends for very long. Not a big fan of lying. But this man fancied my mate, right? So he'd come in every week. We were there, and he'd just come and sit with her. He was a very persistent man. Like, even when she got a boyfriend, he'd just come and sit with her. He was in love. And she spoke to him a few times on the phone, but she'd say to me when she'd spoken on the phone, like, I just can't, like, he knows way more stuff than me. Let's find out a little bit about him. A Leicester man, this is what they're describing him. A Leicester man was found with a terrorist document which gave instructions on how to make explosives. Now, I'm smiling, right, because I don't think that this bloke really wants to make explosives. But I can see why he has that book. His name. Stefan has claimed his interest in far-right groups was for academic purposes, but investigations show this was not true. Now, I would say it is true. He's fascinated. Like, literally, he knows a lot of stuff. Never heard him saying, that he wanted anybody dead or whatever, but he was like one of these that's like, I think Hitler was misunderstood and this kind of stuff, and he was very racist. Officers from counter-terrorism police in North East were investigating the online far-right group called Einsatz 14 over suspicions that individuals in it were suspected of planning a terrorist attack against a target in Leeds. Among those in the chats was Stefan, with the intelligence-led investigation leading to his arrest at his home in Queens Road in the Knighton area of the city in February 2024. On searching the 47-year-old's home, officers found a copy of the Anarchist's Cookbook on a bookshelf. The book provides instructions on the manufacture of explosives, weapons, and drugs. So basically, if you're going to have those kind of views and you're going to talk about it online, don't have that kind of literature in your fucking house. But I can't say no. I used to have, and I kept it for the longest time, a copy of Teach Yourself Plumbing. I have absolutely no intention of teaching myself to plumb. But I like to have books that, all right, maybe not. But in our house, we've got 1984. We've got, what's that, like, my son has the Art of War. And I have the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie, which I bought literally because it was banned. It's like, mate, this is a baddie naughty book. I need it. That's just the kind of person I am. So fuck knows what they'd have me on if they went through my book collection. I've also got 50 Shades of Grey, so Christie, who claimed his interest in far-right ideology was for academic purposes. And I can see that because he is incredibly knowledgeable. Was later charged with one offence of collecting information likely to be used to a person committing or preparing an act of terrorism, contrary to Section 58 of the Terrorism Act 2000. How fortunate that they brought in a Terrorism Act the year before 9/11. Who'd have known? Following a week-long trial at Leicester, it's almost like it was planned, isn't it? At Leicester Crown Court, he was found guilty by a jury of possessing a terrorist document. Well, if you've taken a photograph of it in his house, there's, a jury to Yes, he had that document in his house. He's guilty for it, and he's been sent down for 5.5 years. He maintained his interest in far-right ideology was purely academic, but his involvement with the Einsatz 14 chat, which sounds kind of Einsatz, German, shouters, don't it? Showed that this was not the case. He shared racist and anti-Semitic views in that chat group with individuals who went on to plan an extreme right-wing terrorist. He shared those views with my mate as well. She had no interest whatsoever, but he shared them. He's very avid, very does not like certain people and whatever. I'm not quite sure who, and I'm not asking her because we're not speaking. Extremist material, whether it be online or in books, causes harm to people in the real world. If you come across material which you suspect may be terrorist or extremist, trust your instincts and report it at gov.uk/act, big letters, so we can stop the harm it spreads. Right? Now, do you notice anything in there? You notice anything in there? That it's just some bloke. Thing is that they don't mention in this that dude ain't English. He's Romanian, I think. He's Romanian, doesn't that? He speaks okay English, but he is not English. He's not an English man, and nowhere in there does it say that he wasn't born here. Now, as you know, a lot of the videos that I've been doing recently, personally, and I don't think I've actually said it, personally, I think that the biggest problem this country faces is unchecked migration and the unstoppable march of Islam, because Islam, it says in their thing, they are for taking over. That's what they do. It's in their law. Do you know what I mean? They infiltrate, they lie, they take over, they get a stronghold, and then they move on. And I live in Leicester, and we are an Islamic stronghold in Leicester, right? And everybody's they always say, don't judge where this person is from. It's like this dude's his last, his name sounds foreign, but he is Romanian. And this part of what's going on at the minute, right, is that we have an awful lot of migrants and Muslims and foreign fellas in general in the prison system. And I know, especially with Islam, if you follow Tommy Robinson, you'll know all this. They've taken over the prison system. They have their own way of rules. They don't listen to the people who actually run the prison. They run it, and then they turn people while they're in there. And when you convert to Islam, all of your previous convictions are forgotten. So then it's just rape and pillage. Do you know what I mean? And that's quite handy. It's like, I tell you what, mate, that murder you did, we'll forget it. You come over to us, you take over from the inside with your penis, help us take over the world, mate. We've got you. Anybody comes for you and denounces your God, dead. We'll fucking... It's like, mate, fucking sign me up. So then everybody who's going to come out of prison is going to be fucking... Anyways, right? So it costs, on average, 46 grand, right? 46 grand to keep somebody in prison. On average, if they're in a category A prison, it could be like 60 grand. If it's like an open prison and whatever, it could be 20, 30 grand, right? And literally, there are people who come in over here. I'm taking Stefan out of this, right? The bloke's a numpty. He's just an avid fucking racist. You know what I mean? Weird being in a different country when you're racist, especially Leicester. They loved it. But I saw an article last week of this chap who'd come over from Qatar. Now this is two-tier judgment. I don't know how long he got, right? But this geezer had come over from Qatar and he sexually assaulted a woman in the toilets of quite a posh hospital, I think. Don't quote me. And basically, he was had up in court. He's in prison now, over here, right? And they were like, oh, bless him. When he was living over there, he was working in fields and stuff. He only had his mum. That's the only woman that he'd ever had anything with was his mum. And so the only woman in his life had taught him to fucking sexually assault women. Do you know what I mean? It's like if my sons had only ever met me and I'd be like, right, okay, well, here's other women. This is how you treat them. This is how you treat. You don't put your hands on a woman unless she lets you and whatever. No, his man was like, yeah, go on, take 'em, mate. You see a woman, rape her. That is by the by. But this dude came over here, and it's the British taxpayer who's paying 50 grand a year to keep him locked up. And then when he's done his time, they're going to ship him back over. Why are we spending 50 grand a time at people who come over here because of free stuff? And you only have to, look, like, literally, do not believe the media. Go online, look for yourself. Remember I said that, like, I spoke to this bloke from the BBC, and I said I'd seen a video of this Muslim man saying, yes, we can take a little girl as soon as she starts to bleed, or we can take her for a wife. And he's like, no. Well, yeah, but you shouldn't be looking online. What, I should be listening to you, the one that's actively lying to me and trying to shut me up, should I? So literally, anybody says to you, don't look online, fucking ignore it. Please. We will not survive unless we get a little crazy. You know how to do it. Unless we start looking beyond where we're told. The boxes, the big shiny picture one in the corner of the room that all the furniture's pointing at for a start off, that they tell us we have to look. The official lines that they tell us we have to listen to, stop it. It's the only way we're going to get through this is if we start looking at everything, at everybody's. So when you've got a load of whiteys, when you've got the media, when you've got the government, when you've got the police saying you have nothing to fear from Muslim men, doesn't matter that they have it in their law that they can rape your little girl without consequence, right? Does not matter that by law that their whole religious being contains the degradation of women and children, the sexual objectification of women and children. Ignore that because the bloke on the telly says it's illegal in our country. So it's terrorism. But we're putting 56 grand a year for the next 46 grand a year for the next 5 years. $250,000 on one man for owning a book. A Romanian man. This dude from Qatar, don't know what his sentence was, but the amount of blokes in prison for rape, and like I say, the one literally up the road from me, HMP Fossway, is crammed. If you follow Alex Belfield, actually, he's just come out of there. I am absolutely gutted. I only found out he were in there when he come out. I'd have been down there, mate. Like, literally. Well, I love it. I'd have asked. He probably would have said no. We don't know. But I'd have definitely written to him. But yeah, we're paying thousands and thousands. And then you've got Keir Starmer saying, like, oh no, we need to save this money from here. Thankfully, it seems like he's backing down off disabled people a bit, because people are like, no, sorry, but you're fucking putting people up on luxury hotels, literally. And these people, and if you watch videos of these people outside England saying why they want to come to England, it's like, because it's easy, because we get free money. And then you've got Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips and whatever, who are literally painting us all out as sexual objects. And these people are seeing this abroad, coming over here, free money, free fucking women. That's what we're seeing like on the world stage. Are you proud of yourself for that? For just sitting by and going, oh, well, they told me that everybody lies on the internet, so I'm just going to believe what they say on the telly. You're proud of yourself for not looking into this. We need to start giving ourselves a little bit of a fucking head wobble here, guys, because the amount of money, if you tallied up every person who wasn't born here, who is getting 50 grand a year spent on them just for free board and fucking lodgings, mate. And if you remember, that Algerian dude, back, this last year, I think it was, an Algerian dude, and he was saying, you know, he wanted to come to England, and I've not heard from him in a while, to be fair. He could have boarded a boat. I do not fucking know, but I said it then, and I will say it now. If that man lands on these shores, women will be raped by that man. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Because we are not, the world isn't bred like we are. Do you know what I mean? Like, a few years ago, I've been saying this one about the guy, you know, like the immigrant who came in and just murdered a man, stuck a bloody a broom handle down his throat, murdered this man because they got into a fight in a nightclub and they just shut the doors on him. And then when they spoke to him, he said, well, that's all I've ever known in my country. That's how people are treated in our country. It's violence. And that's what the world is like. It's not what Britain's like, it's what Britain's getting like. We've got guns on our estate now, and that's ever before the fucking mosque gets set up. That's enough of that, because I sound really racist now. I'm not saying, well, I am saying they shouldn't come here, but it's advertised. And then you got Keir Starmer saying, oh, yes, I want to just, you know, like, well, he's giving 500 million to the fucking French police. 500 million to the French police to do what? I watched GB News, was it, the other day, and he said, like, we sent the exact location of this camp, of this smugglers camp, the exact location to the police, to the government. Nobody did a damn thing about it, because all of it is making somebody money somewhere down the line. All of the contracts that they're giving to fucking Serco for the fucking, you know, like, everybody has some sort of share in Serco, I should think, once you get so far by. You know what I mean? They run everything. And they own HMP Foss Way, but they also own G4S and whatever, and they own Interserve in the hospitals, and they run fucking everything. So the wise money has shares in fucking Serco, right? Anyways, let me know what you think. I'm just going to leave it there, because, you know, I'm starting to feel like I'm sounding racist. All I'm saying is you are inviting people with different morals, and very often, and in Leicester, you're inviting people who have it in their law to rape women and children if they're not wearing a head covering. And you're saying, yeah, have it. Have this, have that building, have the other building, take over. Then, of course, they get into fucking, apparently my local MP, who took over from Jonathan Ashworth, it was useless when I went to him anyway. His brother's in prison for terrorists, but no, his campaign manager is in prison for terrorist offences, and his brother is part of some faction or another. It's like, literally, but they've said racist. They've called racist. Saw a video the other day. Chris Philp, he seems to be, oh, bless him, he's going to get his face kicked in, I think. You know, he looks so sweet, but he's trying. You know, like, he is actually trying. So mad respect to that chap. And he'd been in London, and he was talking to this group of Romanian migrants, right? And he's just going over, starting a friendly chit-chat. There's fucking burly blokes just going, racist, racist, racist. And he's going, whoa, calm down, mate. And it's just like fucking these thugs. And just like this woman screaming, and they're just calling him racist. And he's only asking where they come from and why they're here. And that's how we've got ourselves. That's how pathetic the English people are. We've got it so that we have literally lost our country just so that we, damn it, just don't want to be called racist. It's not even racism to say, like, I'm sorry, but I don't want a mosque next to a primary school because in their law they can rape a little girl anally before and vaginally after the age of 8. I don't want that next to a school. But let's not forget, because I never tire of saying it, my friendly Labour ward councillor said there's absolutely no proof whatsoever of Muslim grooming gangs. And the police said if I didn't stop speaking about the safety of women and children on my estate, they would get up and leave the meeting. Cannot go against them, mate. So yeah, like, fuck it. If you're gonna call me racist, I'm not fucking racist, and all of my foreign friends would tell you that I'm not fucking racist. But if that's what I have to be looked at in order to have a voice for the safety of women and fucking children, research Taqiyya, the art of lying to progress Islam, Taqiyya. Research Taharush, TAHARUSH. That is their art of sexual harassment, but also gang rape. Look these things up. Look at what these people are, and then tell me that we're safe in this country. And literally, you've got people in prison over there with people who have the morals of goats. And what do we stand when these people come out of prison and they're all converted? And now literally there's, mate, free fanny. Just spitballing with you. Let me know what you think. And I shall be back with you soon. You can probably tell I'm a bit sweaty. It is very hot. I think we've got a 30 again today. So obviously the world's melting. And I'm surprised they've not used global bloody boiling this year. Give them time. Anyways, thank you for being here. Please come back and never forget that I love you all. Bye.